Vladimir Putin has officially gone ballistic. He issued an order to strike Ukraine with a ballistic missile. That hadn't happened before. That certainly is an act of escalation. And I would like to give you my take on this situation and why, and I'll tell you why I think not much will change and why I think Putin is getting desperate. Howdy, friends. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. As usual, you will find plenty of truth, common sense, and logic here, and you will not find BS, lies, or propaganda. And also you will find emotions, because I'm a human being after all. I keep on making one mistake. Every time Russia does something terrible to Ukraine, I think, well, this is the lowest. It can't get any lower than this. And it gets worse, it gets lower. And it just got, the worst. One more time. Russia launched a ballistic missile and hit a target in Ukraine, in the city called Dnieper. The only thing worse than that is a nuclear strike. And hopefully, I think that will not happen. On the 21st of November, Russia hit Ukraine with a ballistic missile. On the same day, Vladimir Putin unexpectedly commented the attack on the city of Dnipro, on the Yuzhmash enterprise in that city. He confirmed that Russia executed an attack with the experimental ballistic system called Oreshnik. Apart from Putin's words, there's very little known about Oreshnik, that weapon, that missile. Obviously, as Vladimir Putin made the decision to attack Ukraine with that ballistic missile. Putin makes all decisions in Russia, but as usual, he blamed others for this decision. As usual, he said that he was forced to make that decision as a response to the attack from Ukraine with use of Western missiles. The rockets called Atomics and Storm Shadows. I'll remind you that Ukraine used that a few days ago to hit military targets in Kursk province. You see, it's always not his fault. It's always someone else's fault. Russia attacked Ukraine, started the war, invaded its neighbor. Of course, it wasn't Putin's fault. He made the decision, but it wasn't his fault. You see, he was forced to make that decision to invade Ukraine, to protect Russia, to denazify Ukraine, to demilitarize, because Ukraine was acting as a puppet of the West, NATO, and then NATO was going to hit Russia, attack Russia in literally hours. So if Putin didn't know that, he was forced to make that decision. Now, again, it's not his fault. Well, it was him who gave the order to attack Ukraine with a ballistic missile, but it's not his fault because he was simply reacting to the attack of Ukraine onto Russia. Russia is waging the war. It invaded Ukraine, but how dare Ukraine to defend itself, to attack Russia, and how the West dares to allow supplying Ukraine with advanced weapons and allowing Ukraine to use the weapons onto Russia. How dare they? So Russia, of course, is forced to use the ballistic missiles now. It's clearly not his fault again. It's sickening. Okay, I'd like to tell you of three things today. First is the ballistic missile itself, what it is. The second is the reaction of Russian society. And the third is what it means for Ukraine and for the world. What happens next? What is this missile, Oreshnik? Various experts agree that Oreshnik missile is just a modification of RS-26 Rubesh missile. Rubesh was in development for a long time in 2010s, and Rubesh has not gone into the mass production. Russia claimed that it was an intercontinental ballistic missile, but the Western experts say it is a replacement for RSD-10 missile called Pioneer, Soviet medium-range missile. And that is the clear violation of the 1987 Intermediate Range and Short Range Missile Treaty, which was in force at the time of the missile development. Now Putin said that this is not Rubesh or any other missile, but Oreshnik, a brand new development of Russian military-industrial complex. And he said it's the same medium range, but there is no evidence of that. Just his words. There's nothing to prove. If this is a modification of Rubesh, it means that the missile may also have intercontinental range, and Russia thereby violates the current DSNV-3 treaty. In his speech, Vladimir Putin stated that it is impossible to intercept Oreshnik. It has a speed characteristic of Mach 3. It's 2.5. I'm sorry, not Mach 3. Mach 10 speeds of sound, 10 Mach. 2.5, 3 kilometers per second. So he said it's impossible to intercept it with current defense systems. And again, those are just Putin's words. What is the reality? It's really difficult to say because, it is not known. What is known is just to intercept a ballistic missile in general is much more difficult than to intercept cruise missile. But everyone knows that. Now, so it is clear that this missile is not a breakthrough of Russian science and production, manufacturing. Yeah, this is a modification of an old missile. This is an old news, old project. Let's get Oreshnik out of the way. Now, the second part is, what is the reaction of Russian society on the strike? There are two different groups I would like to talk about. Unfortunately, their reactions are fairly similar. The first group is regular Russian people, and the second group is Russian propaganda. Believe it or not, but many people are proud, or at least they show the sense of pride. I was caught by surprise by their reaction, but it kind of goes along. I started thinking about the past and this pride of Russia using, ballistic missiles. It takes roots in the past. About 12, 14 years ago, Russian society started changing. Russian people started changing. Well, Russian propaganda started kicking in, I should say, and it started changing Russian people. And all of a sudden, I remember the first signs, the early birds, so to speak, were the signs, the decals on the cars, the stickers, saying the 9th of May, World War II, we can repeat. Можем повторить. I was taken by surprise. To repeat what? World War II? What was there to repeat? I guess it gave owners of those car stickers some kind of sense of pride. I think if my grandfather, well, both grandfathers, who participated in World War II and both fought, I think if they saw decals like that, they would get absolutely mad and ashamed. Because I'm pretty sure that my grandfathers, they didn't even want to talk about World War II. To repeat? Come on. And then there was another saying in the society just a few years ago, about 6-7 years ago, "Не смешите мои Искандеры." Iskander is an intercontinental ballistic missile. It's, it's the scare of the world, so to speak. That's the worst Russia has. It's a rocket that can fly a very long range. Missile can fly a very long range, and it can carry a huge nuclear payload. So, "Не смешите мои Искандеры." There was another decal or T-shirts sold and so forth, and usually Putin's face with Iskander missiles. I couldn't understand that either. I mean, what is that message? "Не смешите мои Искандеры." Don't make my Iskanders laugh. Don't make my missiles laugh. Don't make me laugh. Like, I have this. When I was growing up, the one thing we were really scared of is nuclear war. It wasn't a matter of jokes, wasn't a matter of being funny, far from it. It was a nightmare. And somehow people in Russia changed. And to them, not just scaring others with decals, T-shirts, just talking about that. Now, since Russia used ballistic missile on Ukraine, it's a reality now. It's nothing to be laughing about. And yet there's some kind of weird sense of pride. Sometimes I think that Russian people don't really understand the reality very much, what's going on around them, okay? I've talked to a few, not my friends, not my family, but I know hundreds, perhaps thousands of people. I lived in Russia for a long time, was born and raised, and my network is fairly large. And they have this kind of weird sense of pride. You see how mighty powerful Russia is. You see it has missiles. You see it can strike fear into others. I am confused, ashamed. Well, I have been ashamed. That's a permanent feeling that I've had. I can't say that it makes me more ashamed than I am, but I'm confused. Why? These people, Ukrainians, have been hit by a huge vehicle that carried a large payload. Thank goodness it was not nuclear. And the Russians are proud of that? It beats me. It's very sad. And the propaganda, the second group is propaganda. Propaganda's reaction, oh my goodness. There is a storm of pride in the Russian media. On TV, newspapers, on internet, and Telegram channels. Do you see? We mean business. We are capable. We can do that. Putin is strong enough to make the decision. Putin is our leader. We stand united behind Putin. We do as he says. Medvedev talked about. You see, you wanted it, you got it. Who wanted it, Dugin, Solovyov, and the likes, the others of, who is who of Russian propaganda, all commented, all are proud, all support. Not one single voice I've heard inside Russian society and in propaganda saying, people, wake up, what are you doing? What the hell in the world are you doing? Not once. Only those who live outside Russia. Yes, I've heard that. But not from anyone from inside Russia. So, one word, bravada. Do you see how powerful we are? Do you see we're the winners, we're the strongest in the world, and so forth? Before I move to the third part, where I'll share my thoughts on what will change and what is going to happen, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you again, those of you who have supported me, who have sent me messages, letters, who have sent me words of encouragement, have prayed for me, sent me love, those who bought me coffees at Buy Me a Coffee, those who became patrons, those who sent funds through PayPal, and thank you for helping, supporting, and thank you for sending love. I feel it, I appreciate it. You have my word. Demonetized or monetized, no matter what, I will keep on going. I will be giving you my updates about Russia every single day. Thank you, friends. So now let's talk about what's going to happen and what will be changed and what's next. The launch happened days after Russia adopted new nuclear strike doctrine. Well, it's the same doctrine, only it's been changed, adjusted. And it made splashes. The fact that Vladimir Putin signed a new adjustment to Russia nuclear doctrine, this fact has made splashes all over the world. Now the new doctrine says that basically now Russia can launch a nuclear strike at any country if that country is helping another country to invade Russia, to fight Russia, okay, if that country is providing weapons with which Russia is attacked and so forth. Somehow it has made splashes. Well, Russian propaganda has taken it and it's made its flag, so to speak. It's showed it on every single corner, figuratively speaking. Saying, you see, we have a new doctrine that has made Russia so much stronger. In reality, not much has changed. Because in the previous version of this doctrine, Russia could strike anytime, anyone. Nothing changed. Moreover, this doctrine doesn't change much. It has no weight. It has no value. Could Vladimir Putin attack Ukraine in February of 2022? No, he couldn't. Did he attack? Yes, he did. Against all doctrines, against all treaties that Russia was a part of. He broke all the treaties. He broke all the agreements, and Russia attacked Ukraine. Doctrine or not. Vladimir Putin makes decisions, and if he wants to attack, he will attack. If he doesn't, he won't. That's pretty much it. All other all doctrines, all agreements, all treaties can be rendered useless in today's Russia. So what's next? You'll be surprised by my answer, I think. Nothing. I think nothing extraordinary will happen. If we analyze the situation right now, we will see that nothing has changed after this strike has been executed. Russia has been hitting Ukraine with other potential nuclear warhead carriers. Among them are Kinzhal, Zircon, X-55, X-101 missiles, and now it's just another carrier. Now it's a ballistic missile. Yes, it looks formidable. I mean, the ballistic missile carrier, but it doesn't change anything. Because all those missiles that Ukraine is hit by every single week, the Kinzhals, the Zircons, the X's, they can carry nuclear payloads, nuclear, they could deliver nuclear strikes on Ukraine. For this to have an effect, there must be at least hundreds of ballistic missiles, or at least dozens, okay? And they would have to be launched all at once. So far, there are only few ballistic missiles, not too many. A ballistic missile and its launch are very expensive. And the damage it causes is incomparable to the cost. The efficiency of such attack is small. So why Putin decided to escalate and hit Ukraine with a ballistic missile? Because it makes a lot of noise. There was just a regular strike. They happen every day, not every day, but every week now in Ukraine. If you look at the footage of the strike, you will see that the missiles fly and they explode. The only difference was the vehicle. Instead of just regular cruise missiles, there was a ballistic one. The way they work is different. The cruise missile is flying parallel to the surface, and the ballistic goes into space and then comes back. That's all. Did Putin reveal that Russia has ballistic missiles? No. Everyone knew that Russia has ballistic missiles. Moreover, everyone knew the missiles that Russia has quite well. Because Russia does not have anything new. Even this missile Putin claims is new is old Soviet development, old Soviet project, just improved by the current scientists in Russia. Putin is seeking informational effect. He wants to make waves all over the world, and he wants to plant fear into people's minds in the West. This attack was aimed at the West in the first place, to show the West that nothing can stop Putin and he can go far. This is an act of scare to influence current foreign policies of Western countries. These tactics excite the media and the public. It creates doubts and it creates fear. The public, in turn, influences elected politicians in Western countries, and Moscow hopes that such strategy will work. Will it? We will see soon. Just remember one thing. Putin has used all trump cards he has now. He can't scare any longer and say, oh, if you do that or this, I'll start using ballistic missiles. He's already used it already. The genie is out of the bottle. The only thing that he has left in his sleeve is real nukes. But I highly doubt that he'll use them, because it not will destroy Ukraine, but it will unite Ukraine again. That is going through, I'd say, political deunification in the country. And most important, it will unite the entire world against Putin. Not just the West, but the entire world. Countries that Russia and Putin Putin is considering allies of Russia. India, Iran, Turkey, China, the ones who are still talking to Putin, they all will turn away from Russia. Not just will forget about sanctions. They will just stop communicating with Russia. They will isolate Russia, not just virtually, but physically, okay? they will build a wall between them and Russia. Putin would become the existential threat to the entire world. And the entire world would unite not to support Ukraine this time, but to destroy Putin, to get rid of him. That's what means using nukes for Vladimir Putin. In that case, now many countries still consider Russian-Ukrainian war a local conflict. Okay, and then their attitude is this: we're staying away from it, let them decide between themselves. But if Putin uses nukes in Ukraine, no one will be standing aside. Everyone is going to be united, and Putin will be a threat to all humankind. So everyone would be just trying to get rid of him as soon as possible. The risks are much higher than the benefits for using the nuclear weapons for Vladimir Putin. And Vladimir Putin still wants to live and to, what's most important, unconditionally rule. So therefore, I think not much will change in Ukraine now, and Putin will not use nukes. And it's just right now, he has nothing to escalate with. Thank you so very much. It's been my message. I will see you tomorrow with another message. Please keep on tuning in. Carthago delenda est.